Our next, May is a busy month, and I realize we're here at the end of April, but at the beginning of May, there are a number of appreciation times for staff and other things. So we've got 3 proclamations that I'd like to read today that will be taking place starting in May. The first is to acknowledge our teachers. It's May, and it's Teacher Appreciation Time. Not that we don't appreciate them all year long, but this is a time for everyone to do that a little bit more specially, to thank them for all that they do and provide for our students. Whereas teachers work to open students' minds to ideas, knowledge, and dreams and keep American democracy alive by laying the foundation for good citizenship. And whereas teachers continue to influence us long after our school days are only memories. And whereas teachers work to create learning environments that support the district's guiding principles of connection, value, and challenge. And whereas the teachers in the Lake Washington School District deserve recognition for their hard work to help students achieve the district's vision of every student future ready. Therefore, we, the Lake Washington School District Board of Directors, proclaim May 4th through 8th and Tuesday, May 5th, especially, as Teacher Appreciation Week and National Teacher Day in the Lake Washington School District. So make sure during that week, before and after too, but say a special thank you. I certainly do, and I know all of us remember a teacher, no matter how old we are. There are teachers that we still remember from our youth, so important to all of us. So thank you, and we do appreciate them. And with that, also in May, there is a special day designated to appreciate our school nurses. And whereas children today face more complex and life-threatening health problems requiring care in school, and whereas all students have the right to have their health needs safely met while in the school setting, and whereas school nurses understand the link between health and learning and are in a position to make a positive difference for children every day, and whereas school nurses are professional nurses who advance the well-being, academic success, and lifelong achievements of all students by serving on the front lines and providing a critical safety net for our nation's most fragile children. Therefore, we, the members of the Lake Washington School District Board of Directors, do hereby proclaim Wednesday, May 6, 2015, as School Nurse Day in the Lake Washington School District. And again, another group of staff that are just very important to the goings-on in our schools and our classrooms and with our students. And last but not least, May is Arts and Education Month. And I'm always proud to say that this district doesn't cut back on the arts, which are so important to our kids. And so glad to have at this time to showcase art even more. Whereas the arts, including dance, music, theater, and visual arts, are defined as a core subject in the Washington State's definition of basic education and considered an essential component of the complete and balanced education for all students. And whereas learning in and through the arts enables students to develop critical thinking and problem-solving skills, imagination and creativity, discipline, alternative ways to communicate and express feelings and ideas, and cross-cultural understanding, which supports academic success across the curriculum as well as personal growth outside the classroom. And whereas imagination and creativity are increasingly understood as critical capacities needed for success in the 21st century workforce. And whereas the arts can transform our schools into havens of creativity and exploration, places where students want to learn, teachers want to teach, and all members of the learning community are more engaged and motivated. And therefore, we, the members of the Lake Washington School District Board of Directors, do hereby proclaim the month of May 2015 as Arts and Education Month in the Lake Washington School District. So there should be some fun things going on, I think, in our schools during this month of May.
Okay, thanks, Jackie. Yes, and we have many fun things planned to help recognize our teachers and our nurses and our arts programs in the district coming up. So we look forward to that. Tonight, I'm very pleased that our host school is Carl Sandburg Elementary and Discovery Community School, and Principal Heather Frazier and Associate Principal Barb Denning are here. So welcome, and we look forward to seeing what you have in store for us tonight. Yeah, me too. Your presentation, by the way, is on the screens in front of us, so we're able to see.
So you're really paying attention.
Yes, so that's what we're looking at. Welcome, Heather.
Well, thank you. Good evening, President Pendergrass, members of the board, and Superintendent Pierce. Tonight, we are going to take you inside our schools, sharing with you the remarkable Carl Sandburg Elementary and Discovery Community Schools. Over the next few minutes, we will begin to scratch the surface of the work of Sandburg and DCS and highlight some of our outcomes. We are now enjoying our third year in our award-winning building. The design preserved and enhanced the park-like feel of our school and reflects our values of global responsibility, sustainability, and community. This is the year that we have unpacked the boxes and made the transformation from a house to our home. We realized that what we really were missing was a boat. We found, I know you're going to be watching them because they're so awesome, but I'll keep you going. We found an apt analogy for our mission in the story of the 1936 University of Washington Olympic rowing team, the winners of the gold medal in Berlin. It's a story about the power of relationship, effort, and a shared dream. Through the generosity of Joe Fraunheim and the thoughtfulness of Scott Morrissey, we are gifted with the loan of a genuine cedar Pocock racing shell, the best and swiftest racing shell in the world of crew racing. This shell is displayed in our center foyer and serves as a daily reminder of our commitment to excellence and to one another. It represents who we are and who we want to become. The UW Olympic racing team consisted of these 9 members, but our team, as you can see, is much larger. We are a team of 50. Like every great crew, each one is as valuable as the other. And we are a blend of both abilities and personalities, all focused entirely on achieving our shared mission to support, educate, and inspire every student to ensure endless possibilities. As you saw, each grade level team wrote their dreams for their students on an oar, and we display them proudly beside the Pocock shell. The Carl Sandburg campus is a vibrant place for learning for 25 preschoolers, 73 Discovery Community School students, and 511 Sandburg students. We recognize that having 2 elementary schools on one campus is not a competition between 2 teams. We celebrate our differences and pull together to achieve our shared mission. Younger's teacher, Mrs. Jewell, and I share a motto that goes roughly like this: good, one of our schools, plus good, the other school, equals really good. In fact, this year, our DCS and Sandburg students are joining together. They're building on their relationship, and they will be going together for a shared trip to Islandwood next year.
Volunteers make a big difference at Sandburg Discovery School, finding a myriad of ways to support every learner. Parents tutor small groups in math and reading and join students for lunch and recess. Our PTSA offers a vast range of opportunities and classes with multiple offerings before and after school to take advantage of after-hours learning. Under the leadership of co-presidents Tracy Wilhelm and Kristen Dorwin, here tonight, our PTSA has won their own gold medal, as well as a bronze and silver for a rise in membership to 410 members. Personal responsibility in serving others is an important part of our culture. In addition to involvement in many social outreach programs, our students implement environmentally friendly practices right here at school. Together, Both schools earned the King County Green School Pillar 1, 2, and now Pillar 3 award in 2014, and the United States Green Ribbon School Award in 2013. Among the changes in practice, students increased our recycling rate from 18 to 56% and added food waste recycling and collecting composting materials in the cafeteria. Our student group, Earth's Helpers, received a King County Earth Hero Award in 2013. We are proud of the hard work of our students and our teachers. Carl Sandburg earned Washington State's Achievement Award in recognition of high progress in reading growth in 2013. Discovery Community School received the Washington State Achievement Award in recognition of high progress in science in 2012, and overall excellence in 2013, and overall excellence reading growth and math growth in 2014. DCS also received a School of Distinction Award from the Center for Educational Effectiveness in 2014, presented for being in the top 5% of improvement in reading and mathematics for the state for over 5 years. We face the challenge of enhancing the education of students operating in the intellectually superior range. 13% of our first grade students scored 90% or above on the COGAT screening, and 28% of Sandburg students performed in the 80% or above range. In DCS, 41% of students are in the 80% performance or above. 56% of our students scored at level 4 in math and 73% at level 4 in reading at the end of 5th grade. We have the responsibility to create endless possibilities for students ready to go beyond level 4 while continuously supporting all demographic categories. Special education performance has not yet met target. Participation is at 95%. Our question, and one we think about daily when designing units and lessons, how do we enhance their education every minute they are in our classrooms to truly ensure endless possibilities?
Well, we continue to refine our skills as professional collaborative communities engaged in the data team process, analyzing student growth, and making intentional research-based decisions to improve instructional strategies. And as an aside, the staff do roll their eyes when I use the D word too often, D-A-T-A. It's like, true, true. But they still do the great work. We have established WIN, What I Need Now, a sacred 30 to 45 minutes a day at every grade level that is for enrichment or extension, and it's driven by the needs of students. WIN has expanded to include alignment of services for Safety Net, and we collaborate also with ELL and special education teachers for all of our students, K-5. So using a combination of report card data and a review of prior MSP scores, I say prior because we were in the field test for SBA last year, we decided to focus on improving student understanding of math, numbers, and operations. And vertical teams agreed that the single greatest impact would be, for that student math achievement, would really be about focusing on math fact fluency. So general ed, safety net teachers, and instructional assistants came together to provide small group math instruction for students. In addition to core math instruction in a whole group from their classroom teacher, students received targeted small group instruction at their level. And parent volunteers were called on to practice those math facts with students, and all the parents received messages from moi, which I know they took to heart, and kids practiced at home. But it really talked about the specific strategies that would be effective for practicing math facts at home. We also got creative, taking advantage of those extra mealtime minutes at school, adding lunchtime math card games. We also got technical. We used computer-based learning at home and school through a combination of two programs, Dreambox, which is for a targeted practice, and Mathletics that I would describe as a prescribed practice that the teacher selects. Using the data team process, all of our teams have something that looks similar to this, so I pulled a sample. We analyze the data and make common research-based instructional decisions, and we are seeing some good growth. Well, this particular sample of our middle-of-the-year data reveals a drop in students at level 1 from 91% to 7%, yay, and an increase in students at level 4 from 0% at the beginning of the year up to 15%. We are well on our way to an end-of-year goal of 87% of students at or above standard. Despite the good growth in numbers and operations, our DIBELS middle-of-year data revealed that a significant number of our half-day K students were not meeting expectations. So the teacher responded quickly and effectively. Her deep understanding of her students' needs moved her to seek resources for those students. Within 2 weeks, resources were redistributed to ensure those at-risk students were receiving intensive instruction through BURST reading groups. And all half-day K students are double-dipped daily in reading, and those learning English as a second language are triple-dipped with ELL small group instruction. Well, 2 years ago, we enriched our community by initiating a student leadership team. From serving as ambassadors to leading the way on social concerns to problem-solving issues of their peers, our kids give us a glimpse of tomorrow's promise. And while we ponder the academics at Carl Sandburg and DCS, we do have tons of fun. Spirit Days, High Five Friday, that's what you see in there with our preschool buddies. Math Night, Science Expo, and the school play are all ways that students present their learning. Would you please join me in welcoming our Sandburg and DCS student leadership?
Good evening, board members. We are the student leadership team from Carl Sandburg and DCS. I am Nika Ghazanfarpur. We were elected during spring of our 4th grade year to be student leaders all throughout our 5th grade year. Our missions are to be positive role models, solve school problems, and build our school spirit.
Some of the things our amazing school has accomplished this year include working with the school's counselor to go into the younger kids' classrooms and read stories about bullying and its prevention.
We have produced monthly videos with our school's librarian and performed skits at lunchtime to promote school events. I also write a column for the school newspaper.
One big thing we do here in Carl Sandburg is plan monthly spirit days with a theme like Sports Day or Crazy Hair Day. We promote and participate in community services events like a food drive or special program for kids in need called Wrapped in Love.
We share ideas with our principal and have helped solve problems on the playground and in the lunchroom. At the end of the year, we host a school-wide student recognition assembly to celebrate learning, clubs, and service all around our school. Thank you for your support.
Hello, I'm Tracy Wilhelm, and this is Kristen Dorwin, and we are co-presidents at our PTSA at Carl Sandburg DCS. We serve on a board with 14 other members, and I think this is a testament to our uniquely large and supportive volunteer base that we're very proud of. We really love the boat metaphor obviously, tonight here. So much that every month the PTSA puts out our Lost and Found underneath the boat and advertises, look for your coat under the boat. I don't know that it's actually worked yet, but we're going to keep trying. In this long and well-stroked crew metaphor, the PTSA might be seen as the enthusiastic and cheering masses lining the shore. We also might occasionally pay for repairs on the boat, and we definitely feed the athletes on a regular basis. But we are so honored and happy to support our crew of students and their families, teachers, and administration. We are grateful also for the leader in the stern of our boat. Coxswain Heather Frazier carries the bullhorn, but she has a very gentle and firm voice so that she rarely needs to use it. I believe that this gentleness is a characteristic that truly represents our schools and one of our greatest strengths. Our PTSA enjoys an amazing working relationship with our teachers and the community as a result of that.
The PTSA has had a challenging but gratifying year. The boundary changes this year were clearly a bit of a challenge for our community. We have many families who are moving on to Juanita and Thoreau Elementary, but we know that they will take with them the generous spirit of our community into their new schools, and we look forward to making connections that way. We take pride in the many PTSA-sponsored programs and events, and I have just a few examples to give you a snapshot of our year. We start out in the summer with kindergarten welcome playdates. We assemble first day packets that go home with the students, and then we kick off the year with a dance marathon fundraiser. We do vision and hearing screening, food drives for HopeLink and pantry packs. We put on a craft fair right before the holidays. The Reflections art program. We provide a lot of budget support for art, music, field trips, and math software. We sponsor a book rodeo, family math night, a science expo. We produce the school directory and yearbook, and still to come, we have our school play this spring. We are a herbicide-free campus, so we have some weed pulling events, including one for Earth Day. We have a spring barbecue and a 5th grade celebration.
What's great about a crew boat is that you get to see where you've been. You get to turn the boat's back, so you get to see it. In our home stretch, one thing we're particularly proud and excited about is for the future of our 5th grade outdoor education program. It's something that our community has supported and that we feel is very important. Next year, both of our schools, as Heather mentioned, will be attending camp together, and it's a true gift to have 2 schools in our building. It's double the fun and double the inspiration. Finally, we'd like to just say how much we enjoy PTSA. I'll be forever grateful for the connections and experiences that I've received as being a part of the PTSA. In this big regatta, it's the last crew image there. It's really nice to see all of our teachers lined up here, and we can't leave without publicly thanking and creating a safe boat for us too, for giving us motivation and encouragement and providing us solid direction every single day from the same seats that are not always the most comfortable. So thank you very much.
I want to thank you for your kind attention, and I'd like to extend my gratefulness to the Sandburg and DCS staff and families for their dedicated professional work in education. No tears, that's pretty tough for me. And this is just a minute long, so I'm going to click it. You're going to love it. It's a little loud. the boat here till the end of the meeting. I don't trust you longer than that. So that if people want to, just really gently touch it, you can carefully lift it. It's really a remarkable piece of craftsmanship. Thank you.
Thank you for a fabulous presentation, and students, you're already good leaders. Boy, we look forward to seeing you in the future and what you become. I know a number of people here are from Sandburg and Discovery, and I'm sure that you might like to get home to children, or your children could get home to do some work and get ready for school tomorrow. So we're going to take a couple minutes to let you go ahead and go out the door. And thanks again. Comment. We have a few people signed up. I first would like to go over our public comment process and explanation of what it is for not only folks in the room, but for anybody viewing at home. On a monthly basis, the Board of Directors does provide an opportunity for public comment during board meetings. It's usually the first board meeting of the month. It is a time reserved during our working meeting for the board to hear from the public. And just so folks know, there are multiple avenues in addition to this time of public comment for the community members to share comments with the board, their opinions and or concerns, including emails, calls, or letters. Please note that the public comment is not a question and answer time with the board. The board and superintendent will not be responding to community members during the public comment, as our goal is to listen and to learn from you. Typically, we allow 30 minutes on our agenda for public comment. If we have a number of people signed up to speak on the same topic, the board limits that time devoted to the single topic to 30 minutes. If you're speaking on a subject that has already been raised by previous speakers, please focus on aspects of the topic that have not yet been addressed. So encourage not to have a lot of repetition from speaker to speaker. That helps also give the board a more complete picture of the situation that you're here sharing with us. Each individual is allowed up to 3 minutes to speak. In order to ensure that we hear from a variety of people, individuals cannot share or donate their time to other people. So when your name is called, we'll ask you to please approach the center podium here and speak into the microphone, giving your full name and school attendance area for the record. We do have a stoplight system over here that when you see the yellow light, it means you've got about a minute left. When you see the red light and the buzzer, you'll know that your time is up, and we ask you to please bring your statements to an end. It is very important for us as a board, for all our community members to feel welcome and safe during our board's business meeting. Just to let you know that the board does not take public comments on issues that are related to personnel or individually named staff during this time. And audience members are expected to treat all attendees with respect and civility. Now, we have a number of people here speaking on one topic, which is from Lake Washington Girls Soccer, and we have received emails from folks. And I just want to reemphasize my last statements about comments about personnel and staff. We appreciate your coming and having comments to make. We would like those to be on process and anything that you have to do about process and things of that nature, but we would like you to please not get into the individuals that might be part of this process. I'm sure we all respect, when it comes to personnel issues, we'd prefer that those be handled where they should be and not here at the microphone. So with that said, Cindy is the first to come forward. Good evening. And I think your microphone's on? Is there?
Oh, now I have a green light.
Now you're there.
Ooh, see, I have a green light here. My name is Cindy Monahan, and my daughter attends Lake Washington High School. This will be her 4th year going into the Lake Washington Girls Soccer program. I'm here today to bring light to concerns over the hiring of a new head coach for the girls soccer program. As parents, we expect the school administration to act in the best interest of our students. We expect them to hire the best possible instructors they can. We expect them to consider community feedback, particularly when they've requested it, and we don't accept that feedback is requested for showmanship only. When the school administration recently recruited a head coach for the program, the process resulted in 2 candidates for Principal Thomas to choose from. One candidate has over 10 years of experience, the other has 1. One candidate has over 25 years post-college experience in formation, strategy, and player development, the other has 1. One candidate has the overwhelming endorsement of the community, the other does not. One candidate has dozens of player and parent recommendations, the other does not. Principal Thomas did not hire the most qualified candidate for this position. Was this a simple disregard for the coaching in girls' sports? We don't know. That would be a violation of Title IX, and I'm sure that was not the intent. The recent hiring process for a head coach was at the very least not in the best interest of the students, and not in compliance with district policy, which requests community input and doesn't say that that community input is disregarded as biased. School administration has said that the more experienced coach didn't have the tactical knowledge of the other. That's a ridiculous attempt to justify the hiring decision on a subjective matter. Every coach and fan out there has an opinion on strategy and formation of every sports team that they watch. If you really want to know what a coach can do, look at their stats, look at their past. One candidate has years of success, 7 of them within our program and with our girls. The other has 1 year, and in that year had a less than 12% win ratio if you count in season only. That doesn't stack up to 10 years of experience. This thought that this is a matter of tactical experience is a smokescreen. Your director of HR and your legal counsel, they're going to warn you that rescinding a job offer is going to have liability risk. I'm going to argue that not acting in the best interest of girls' sports will have a higher risk. I'm going to argue that not doing the right thing here and correcting this will have a higher liability risk to the school district and to the school itself, and higher public bad press. I'm sorry, the school district has put you, or the school has put you in a no-win situation, and I don't discredit the position you're in. I thank you for listening, and I really beg of you to do the right thing here and correct this. Thank you.
Thank you. Samantha? Samantha? And I'm going to repeat what I said about personnel. I think we got close to the line on this one. I understand that you're talking about qualifications of people, but these are 2 people that could pretty easily be identified in the community. So I'd like, again, to reiterate, process is what we can do something or ask something about, not necessarily the individuals themselves. So this should be about the process. Okay, Samantha, if you tell us who you are.
My name is Sammy McChesney, and this will be my 4th year in the girls' soccer program. I am a junior at Lake Washington, and I was on the committee to hire a new head coach. I was also on the basketball team and was looking who got fired, and we were looking for a new coach this year, and after 1 year, that coach also got fired. And we are concerned that our process isn't being considered in the right way, and without, and that we don't hire the best coaches for our girls' teams, which means we see them leave too fast. I don't know what happened in the hiring committee, but I was stunned of the coach that wasn't hired. I don't understand why we aren't worth the most experienced coach available, and we deserve the most qualified of coaches. We have the right to best coaches in the hiring pool, and I was there during the process, and I don't understand. What does this mean for the next process that hires my new basketball coach? Something that isn't right, and I hope you will fix it. Thank you.
Thank you. Michaela? Is Michaela here? Okay, Susan?
Good evening. My name is Susan Beto. Thank you very much for taking your time listening to us.
Can I have you just move your mic just
Sorry.
a little bit? That's okay, just so everybody can hear you nice and clear.
And I have to redo this a little bit, so some of it's going to just be scattered a little
Understood.
bit because of the rules, and I didn't understand that when I wrote this.
No problem.
I have 2 children at Lake Washington High School. My daughter has played soccer for the school for the last 2 years. I'm here to represent the students and their families who are devastated that the junior varsity coach was not chosen as our new head coach. We are all confident that this decision is derailing the team's ability for success. We have all written letters, the girls met with principal, and most letters were disregarded, and any answers given were without clarity. The candidate that we feel was the most impressive candidate had the utmost respect from the entire soccer community. She was known for how hard she works to understand the girls on and off the field and how she inspires them to play their personal best always. As adults and parents, we always hope that our kids will have experiences with mentors that will have a positive impact on their life. This coach was one of these. We feel like Lake Washington High School has missed out on this golden opportunity to continue a program that was instrumental in strengthening and building. The students have so many valid questions as to why. Why not hire the person with the most experience? Why not hire the person who is endorsed by the resigning head varsity coach and her peer? Why not hire a person that developed the strongest soccer program in the district, having gone to state and winning district in the past 2 years? Why not hire a person who has 100% support from all the present and past soccer players and their families? Why not hire the person who has shown king pride and commitment to our girls for 7 years and who does not have one complaint from anyone any of these 7 years? Why hire an unknown for just 1 year of coaching experience? Why hire someone inexperienced in such a lead position? What happened to being mentored, gaining experience, earning your way? How would you feel if a person was hired right into a principal or superintendent job just with 1 year of college? Can't imagine it. We are here to ask about the process of which the results feel so wrong. 80% of the hiring committee endorsed the other candidate. Volunteers who were asked to participate in this hiring process were disregarded. The substantially more experienced candidate was disregarded. The only vote that appears to have mattered in this was the Lake Washington administration, in other words, 20% of the hiring committee. We speak for these girls, these athletes, and our program have a great opportunity here. You can fix this. Please investigate the hiring process and give our girls the answers that they deserve. We expect a prompt response. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Scott? Scott? Is Scott here? Would you come forward, please? And after Scott, I have Merritt. Is that correct? Okay.
Good evening. How are you? Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
My name is Scott Bailey. I have an 11th grade daughter at Lake Washington High School, and this coming season would be her 3rd year in the soccer program. Like you, we pick a good school district to live in and have our kids go to school. Part of that experience is sports. And just like you and your children, I imagine you want them to have a great experience with their school teacher. We also want our athletes to have a great experience with their coach. And so the past couple of years, she's had a fantastic experience. And the stories that I hear from her are very inspirational. I speak as a volunteer soccer coach in the Lake Washington Youth Soccer Association, and I have a sense of what it takes to coach and teach young ladies. It's not an easy thing to do. I also have a number of years' experience as a people manager. It's not an easy thing to do. And I can say over the years, coaching girls, I've gotten better just by gaining more experience. Managing people, I've gotten better just by having that experience and learning from that along the way. So I as well as my daughter, the other parents, we were pretty surprised at the decision that was made. And as we started learning about and hearing about the process that was gone through to make this hiring decision, I think that's where we all really felt, gosh, maybe something didn't go quite right here. Maybe we didn't really follow the real practice. Maybe something else was at play. And so myself and my daughter and the other athletes and parents would like us to take a step back just because of the urgency of the situation. The fall soccer season is about to start now, with the coach would normally get together with the incoming players in the spring. And so we'd like you to look at this quickly and urgently, because there's a need to get the program started again. So we'd like to pause, take a step back, look at the process, see if maybe we could do that again, maybe do it perhaps in a different way, and look at this process and make a different hiring decision than the one that was made. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. And Merritt?
Hi, I'm Merritt Helgeson. I go to Lake Washington High School, and I'm a junior. I'll be going into my 4th year in the LW soccer program, and as soon as teammates and I found out that our previous JV coach was passed over for a job as the varsity coach, we scheduled a meeting with our principal. We asked why our JV coach was passed up for the position, and we were given no clear answer. All she did was tell us the process that they went through to hire the other coach, and she never really specified the reasons why our JV coach wasn't hired for the varsity position. She basically told us to just deal with it, and there's nothing we can do to change it, no matter how hard we try. She said, don't make a petition or go to the board, but this matters too much to us to just let it pass by. Our JV coach has taught us so much about soccer, about life, and I can't imagine another season without her. Thank you.
Thank you. And that's the last person I have that's signed up to speak on this. And all I can tell you at this time is that I am aware of Matt Gillingham, who is our Director of Student Services that oversees athletics, is looking into this situation. I believe he's emailed some of the parents already. So this is something that's already being addressed by the district. And you should be hearing from Matt or from Dr. Pierce or Ms. Thomas as this process goes forward. So be assured that you have been heard and that the district is taking it seriously and looking into the situation and see where to go from here. Okay, I do have a couple more people signed up to speak. Steve is here from East Lake.
Are we good with, I don't know if I'm okay with audio and video as well? Or pictures? No? No pictures? Okay, no pictures. All right, well, we'll do this without pictures.
Do a visual. A mental picture for us. Okay. Paint one.
My name is Steve Polis. I'm here representing East Lake High School girls softball. And as well, I've run the East Lake Little League softball program for about 8 years. So a lot of my girls, hopefully most of the girls in the high school team ended up coming from our program. It was about 17 months ago that I was at this board meeting on this podium and came in here with a challenge and an issue like many of us do month in and month out to speak with you all. And at the time I explained an issue that we had with the boys program, had a wonderful indoor facility for their baseball program. And the girls program really had an outdoor batting cages, which was leaning in and overrun with weeds and everything else. And we were looking into it with a lot of volunteers and donation monies and designs and everything that we had put together. And for years we kept getting a runaround and a no from the school district, not the school district, actually, the school district as well as maybe the facilities people, and we could never get the project going. And that frustration led me to come in here that particular night about 17 months ago and explain this. And I'm back here now, 17 months later, to thank you. So I think a lot of times you hear a lot of bad things, but every so often it'd be nice to hear somebody come back a year and a half later. Because of Jackie and Dr. Pierce and the rest of the board, you really gave us, you worked with your community commission that you had and bridged them with my group of volunteers, and we got together and we raised over $40,000 of cash money. We had another $25,000 of corporate donations from companies as large. Actually, the cash monies included donations from companies like Microsoft and McKinstry and whatnot, as well as little companies, little landscape companies like Quercus and SAD Custom Homes. But we got $40-some-odd together. We got another $25,000 together in material donations. We had over 2,000 volunteer hours in developing and building, and we ended up building a complete indoor facility on the exact footprint of our outdoor facility. Now the girls have 2 indoor lanes lit with high energy efficient LED lights. And they can move the batting cage lanes aside and have an open facility. It's 2,430 square feet. And it all came together really with what you guys knocked down a lot of the roadblocks. And you were talking earlier today about you want to hear about the process. I've been running Little League for 8 years, trying to do community projects with the high school and the school district, and I've done several, and it's been painful just putting in a gravel path 8 years ago. We now built a 2,400 square foot indoor facility with less challenge than I've ever had. I want to finish this up, because I'm on yellow, with complimenting Jim Price in your organization. He was an excellent ambassador to the school district and with the community and with my volunteer team, and really is what you guys are here to exemplify. I hope you guys give him a big thank you from us. We ended up with a great facility, and thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you. And thank you for the update. We'll look forward to seeing the pictures of what it looks like, but thank you very much for the update. It's always nice to hear when something works.
Yeah, it was valued at over $110,000, and that was free of charge to the school district. So.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. And I have one more person, I believe. Is it Satin? Yes. Did I say that correctly? Okay.
Am I close enough? Good evening. So my topic is school start times for middle and high school. Oh, sorry. Yes. My name is Satin Brennan. I have 2 children. I'm a parent that go to Horace Mann Elementary School. And my topic is school start times for middle and high school students. So yes, I have 2 elementary school students, but one of them is in 5th grade. And I just wanted to bring up this topic because I was wondering if the board and the district have considered changing to a later start time for middle and high school students, especially given the research that exists and that's out there with regards to the current early start times that we have in our district not being favorable for them, and later start times being more favorable given their changes in their circadian rhythms for going to bed later, getting up later, and doing better at school when they have enough sleep. And often they're going to bed later and like getting up early, therefore not getting enough sleep, and then not performing as well, possibly not achieving as well or being as successful. Other schools have moved towards changing that. I have talked to several friends. I was visiting a friend in Portland over spring break, and her stepdaughter said she starts at 9 o'clock because the school district realized that and made that change. So anyway, I just wanted to bring up that topic to be addressed. Thank you.
Thank you. And so you know, that is a topic that periodically comes back up and around, and it has in the past been looked at thoroughly. It doesn't mean that it's done being looked at, and I think there's a plan for...
Actually, I'll ask Matt Montebianco, who is Associate Superintendent sitting right in front of you, who is currently heading up a College Career Ready task force that is looking at this as an aspect of their work. So Matt will be able to fill you in, and there's information on our district website as well, and we've been putting updates and connections and so forth. So I'll ask Matt to connect with you.
And board members keep sending in the literature, but it's a very complicated issue.
Yes. With
but
lots
we see
of
the literature.
And lots of bodies and humans involved at all ages, as you can imagine. Not everybody is in agreement. So it's one of those interesting topics. But yes, if you and Matt can talk with you, so thank you. And that's all I have that have signed up. Was there anybody else in the audience that didn't get a chance to sign up that had something to say to the board? Okay, if not, we'll move on to the rest of our agenda. And thank everyone for coming this evening. Our consent agenda time. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
I move we send the high school students home first.
Oh, they're welcome to
The rest of it is-
depart whenever you're ready. I'm sorry.
We thank you for your time.
Thank you. Sorry, I didn't mean that you had to stay the rest of the night.
Not that you're not welcome.
But we
just
would
want you
really
back
like
here.
to have an audience. Okay, sorry, Chris, thank you.
That's all right. Second.
All right, I have a consent agenda moved and second to approve. Tracy will poll the board.
Chris.
I think I've got that straight now.
Yes.
Yes.
Jackie? Mark?
Yes.
Siri?
Yes. And then there are some donations to say thank you to wonderful donations.
Yes, if you look
lot of them again.
under tab 6, we do again have a number of donations this evening from a variety of sources totaling $72,241. We've got a $4,674 donation from the Juanita Schools Foundation to Juanita Elementary to purchase renewals for Accelerated Reader and IXL Math. $25,400 from the Alexandra Graham Bell PTSA to Bell Elementary to provide stipends for Math Club and website and to support outdoor ed, field trips, professional development, classroom enrichment, and the library, music, and PE departments. $7,312 from the Rosa Parks PTSA to Rosa Parks Elementary to provide stipends for the Drama Club. $2,359 from the Rose Hill Elementary PTSA to Rose Hill Elementary to purchase miscellaneous school supplies and to support the library. $4,300 from the Environmental and Adventure School PTO to Environmental and Adventure School to support field trips, community stewardship activities, and electives. $1,800 from the Finn Hill Middle PTSA to Finn Hill Middle School to provide compensation for their theatrical production. $3,655 from the Inglewood Middle School, PTSA to Inglewood Middle to support the Drama Club. $1,500 from Redmond Middle School, PTSA to Redmond Middle to support Scholarship Fund. $4,346 from the Eastlake High School Softball Booster Club to Eastlake High School to purchase fence material and lockers associated with the batting cage that we heard about tonight, purchased in May 2014. $4,000 from the Eastlake Wolfpack Association to Eastlake High School to provide athletic scholarships. $5,895 from the Juanita Rebels Booster to Juanita High School to purchase a high jump pit. $5,000 from GenCorp Foundation to Tesla STEM High School to support the Rocket Internship Program, and $2,000 from the Whole Kids Foundation to Juanita High School to support a science class to plant a garden. So all total tonight, $72,241 in very generous donations.
And donations from a wide group of members of our community, from PTA to boosters and businesses. So, wow, again, our schools are very appreciative of having the extra funding to do some of the things that regular funding also isn't able to do.
That's right.
So next on our agenda, if I can find my agenda page again, is the superintendent's. I'm sorry, we have non-consent agenda. I guess I won't skip that. It's probably, since they're sitting here in the audience,
we don't want to skip this one.
Yeah, I don't think that they'd appreciate that I jumped over them, so, yes.
Okay.
So bond refunding.
Great. So if I could direct your attention to tab 7, I'll review the situation and the recommendation that we're bringing tonight to the Board of Directors. Resolution number 2198 authorizes the issuance of approximately $189,800,000 of refunding bonds if market conditions remain favorable. The proceeds of the refunding bonds will be used to refund certain maturities of bonds that were issued in March 2004 under Resolution number 1921, bonds that were issued in September 2004 under Resolution number 1938, bonds that were issued in September 2006 under Resolution number 1986, and bonds that were issued in November 2007 under Resolution number 2012. If executed, this action will allow the district to take advantage of favorable interest rates and save taxpayers approximately $19.1 million over the life of the bonds. The resolution before you this evening delegates to the superintendent and the Deputy Superintendent of Operational Services, Janine Fogard, the authority to direct the bond underwriter to market the bonds within certain parameters set forth in the resolution. This advance authorization provides flexibility in timing the refunding, as the refunding can be scheduled to align with favorable market conditions within a year of the resolution, as long as the savings target in the resolution is met. The two 2004 issues are referred to as current refundings. Current refundings describe refundings that are done after the bond call date of December 1st, 2014. The 2006 and 2007 issues are known as advance refundings. Advance refunding describes refunding that are done more than 90 days prior to the call dates for the refunded bonds. The 2006 and 2007 issues have call dates of December 1st, 2016 and December 1st, 2017, respectively. Proceeds of advanced refundings are placed in escrow with funds dispersed on the call date. Accounting methodology requires districts to treat the current refunding as revenue in the other financial sources category and expenditures in the debt service fund. Advanced refundings are treated as revenue, again, other financing sources and other financing uses. The refunding will require the district to modify the adopted 2014-15 debt service budget in order to reflect these anticipated changes in revenues and expenditures. In order to do so, a budget extension request for the debt service fund is planned to be presented to the board in May. The district's bond council has reviewed this action and the resolution and finds them to be in legal compliance. The terms of this transaction will be reviewed by the district's independent financial advisor, A. Dashen and Associates, prior to the sale being commenced to ensure the best interest of the district is represented. That's the situation. The recommendation is that the Board of Directors adopts Resolution Number 2198, authorizing the issuance and sale of refunding bonds of the district in the aggregate principal amount of up to $189,800,000 as presented.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Questions, discussions?
Yeah, questions. Sorry, I haven't seen one of these before. So in English, this translates to we are refinancing at a lower rate on our bonds.
That is correct.
Thank you.
And
what I...
this action, I just want to highlight again, will allow the district to take advantage of the favorable market rates and save the taxpayers approximately $19.1 million over the life of the bonds.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you for putting it. I know we have to do this more this way, but yes, but that's essentially for everyone that was listening to what this is all about, is to save money for our taxpayers. That's the bottom line. Okay. Any other questions from board members? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving the resolution number 2198, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Get to send these people to work.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Okay, now I think I'll superintendent report you.
Thank you all for coming.
Yes, yes, that's what I said. I appreciate their being here.
Okay, we are ready to move on to superintendent report, and I need to unlock just a couple of PowerPoint slides to share tonight associated with our Healthy Youth Survey data. So,
oh,
I don't
yeah.
think so.
Barbara, did you all have something you wanted to share with us?
You're welcome to say it if you really have to.
We didn't mean to not let you speak, honest.
It's all right. We appreciate it. I'll just, since I'm up at the mic, Dave Trageser is here from our DA Davidson, our bond underwriter. And Scott was just Scott is from our bond counsel, K&L Gates, and they were just bringing the very thick documents that you need to sign. So we'll get that taken care of after the meeting.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, for some of us, this is like old hat, so.
Actually,
but we appreciate it
we love
all
when we can
very much.
save our taxpayers some money.
We haven't done a refunding, I think, in over I think since 2006. So I had to refresh myself also.
Yeah,
So,
I thought it had been a while.
yeah.
We have done some other things, but not this. Yeah. Yeah, we've sold some. Thought we did something else with bonds too, but. Because it's like, yes, you know how it is with legalese. Okay, superintendent's report.
Okay. I wanted tonight, as superintendent's report, to share some highlights from our 2014 Healthy Youth Survey and to highlight where all this information can be found now on our district website, which is a new practice for us. So a little bit of background. The Healthy Youth Survey is taken every 2 years by students in grades 6, 8, 10, and 12 in almost 1,000 public schools in Washington. More than 200,000 youth took part in the survey in October 2014 by answering a wide variety of questions about their health and health behaviors. All responses are voluntary and anonymous. Healthy Youth Survey results provide state and local health organizations and school districts with needed information to plan, implement, and evaluate publicly funded programs. The survey is a collaborative effort of the Department of Health, the Department of Social and Health Services, the Office of Superintendent of Public Instruction, and the Liquor Control Board. Survey results are posted on the Healthy Youth Service homepage, and as I mentioned, new this year, we are also posting our district results on our district website. I want to ask John at this point, just to show, if he could bring up, we'll click out of this slideshow real quick, and bring up the main page of the district website, and you will see under what's new on this site, Healthy Youth Survey. So if you click there for families and parents, you can see some background information on the Healthy Youth Survey in the middle of the page. And on the right panel, you'll see the summary that I'm going to share with you tonight in a written form. I've just got it on some slides, as well as the full 2014 results, district-wide, and then the grade level specific results, as well as some other information. Also, you'll see the 2012 results and the 2010 results, although through our source for the data, we were not able to get the district-wide 2010 results, but you'll see we do have the district grade 6, 8, 10, and 12 results. So for 2010, it's broken out by grade level. We just don't have the overall summary that we do for 2012 and 2014.
Yeah, I was surprised when they showed me how far we've gotten with the data analysis. It's relatively new, and it's really interesting and much more searchable.
Yeah, absolutely. If you click on the 2014 results, maybe just as a visual, bring that up, you'll see a report that gets really into the level, the question that was asked, what the responses were, so forth. So I'll just let John, as a visual, kind of click through a couple things here. But what I have tonight to share is some highlights that our Director of Student Services, Matt Gillingham, put together. So again, you can get deep into the specific data through these reports that are available to everyone. What we've done now initially, again, is just to call out some summary points, and we've got those to share with you tonight, and they're on the summary page that's posted on the site. So John's now going to click back to the PowerPoint, and again, we just have a few slides here to share with you this evening. So the first one is on demographics and just general information in terms of how many students, what percentage of students by grade level participated in the survey in 2014. Again, responses are voluntary. We do a lot of work with our counselors and schools to get students to participate, but it's a voluntary process. So this shows us the number of students and the percent that participated in 2014. Then for a number of categories. We just have, and I won't read all of these points to you, they're all included on the website, but just where we're seeing some declines in alcohol, tobacco, and other drug use, and no changes in some areas. For example, declines, the second bullet, in substance abuse for cigarettes and alcohol in grade 12, but no change in marijuana in grade 12. But declines in substance abuse at all of the other grades. A couple of highlights here. We've got the lowest level of reported substance abuse use for grades 6 and 8 in the past decade, and the lowest level of reported cigarette, alcohol, and prescription drug use in grades 10 and 12. We've got fewer students using e-cigarettes and vaporizers, which is a kind of a trend overall, I think is positive given the accessibility of some of these things. However, we do have 22% of our 12th graders report using within the past 30 days. And overall, all grades are reporting fewer students using marijuana than the state average. So we're also able to look at the data compared to what students are reporting statewide.
Is it clear at all our schools that use of e-cigarettes or vaping machines is totally prohibited on school grounds?
Yes, that is in all of our handbooks. It was updated when
The
those
new policy
became
was
available.
updated?
Yep.
Yeah, just for the public to know, these are not water vapor coming off of there. They are numerous toxic studies. If you want, I have an extensive list of the research on them.
And they can explode on you.
Part of my job at the state. Oh, and they can explode, and there's heavy metal contamination, and the nicotine is highly toxic. So if it,
Somehow they're still safer than an actual cigarette?
only because you're not burning your heating.
Yeah.
We've already had one baby die in this country. Liquid nicotine is pure form, is highly, highly toxic and absorbs through the skin.
Okay. There's a category just with some summary points in the category of other health concerns. So students are asked about their sexual activity. They're asked about their physical activity. So there's a slight increase in all grades reporting at least 60 minutes of physical activity per day. It's declining, however, when you look from grade 6. So 32% of our 6th graders are reporting at least 60 minutes of physical activity per day, but that declines to 18% with our 12th graders.
We need to make them run to school.
That's a good idea. It's interesting and not necessarily surprising that the percentage of students reporting excessive television or video game use increased at all grade levels. Interesting, during public comment, the whole issue of school start time and sleep came up, and you'll see that more than 73% of students in grade 10 and 80% of students in grade 12 are reporting sleeping less than 8 hours a day, although that doesn't necessarily directly relate to school start time. It does speak to the fact that students are not sleeping, reportedly in 8 hours.
In class?
Hopefully not at all in class. Another thing we wanted to point out here is that we do acknowledge and know that these two bottom bullets are really important to us. The fact that 30% of our high school students report experiencing depressive feelings, and 15 to 19% of students in grades 8 through 12 reported having seriously considered suicide in the past year. So I wanted to just speak to these about, so what are we doing about that? The state legislature passed House Bill 1336 in April of 2013, and that requires that each Washington school district has a plan for how it will handle emotional and behavioral distress, including suicidal thinking, behavior, and threats of violence. So OSPI, the School Safety Center there, has developed model policies, guidelines, and toolkits and resources for all schools in Washington state. Locally, our district is utilizing the resources and continually working to improve our youth suicide prevention and intervention efforts. As you know, we now have a director of student services who is tending to many areas in our district, including activities and athletics and student services. And he is working on the training plan and all of the efforts to ensure that we're doing everything we can within our power to address this. Unfortunately, we know that even with all the increased efforts, tragedies do still occur, but we're doing everything that we can, knowing that this is a real issue for our students. And he's working with, Matt, again, is working with the administrators and counselors to implement our youth suicide prevention and intervention efforts. We're bringing in the process, it's taken a little bit longer than we anticipated, but we're working to bring social workers into our comprehensive high schools. That was part of the budget that the board approved last year for 2014-15. We're working in partnership with Evergreen Health to get this going. We're also working with the Puget Sound ESD on suicide prevention training, and we'll be able to follow up with the board and give you some more specifics in these areas, and hopefully a concrete timeline here pretty soon on when we hope to get the social workers into our high schools. But I wanted to highlight some of those efforts given data that we're seeing. Another category is around school climate, and there's some good news here to highlight that we have the lowest level of reported incidents of bullying for grades 8 and 10 in the past decade. Unfortunately, increase in reported incidents of bullying grade 6, although in as long as it's being reported and tended to, it can be a positive that we're knowing about it versus it's happening and we don't know about it. Students in all grades report feeling safe at school, and that's higher than the state average. That's one of our key performance indicators in our strategic plan connected to our goal of providing safe and innovative learning environments. We look carefully at this data point through Healthy Youth Survey to see are students reporting that they feel safe at school. You can see some other things, low rates of bringing weapons. Another positive is more than 92% of our students in grades 8 through 12 report that they have lots of chance for involvement in school activities. And I think as we see our host schools come and present at elementary, middle, and high school, they speak to all of the after-school clubs that are supported through PTSA and our schools foundation, as well as district funds to get kids involved in activities and athletics, so that's a positive. And we've got data there on fighting as well. Risk and protective factors. All grades report at a rate higher than the state average that adults in the neighborhood think that drinking, smoking, and marijuana use is very wrong. So again, this is beyond just sort of what is the school doing, because who's sponsoring this is as I said, it's a collaborative effort between the Department of Health, Department of Social and Health Services, OSPI, and the Liquor Control Board. So it's looking at all of the influencing factors that that students have, including parental attitudes and so forth, and neighborhood attitudes. All grades are reporting that there is a perception of great risk of harm from drinking, smoking, and marijuana use. That's a positive. Perceptions on disapproval drop from grades 6 through 12. That's not as positive, but not necessarily surprising. Our trends have improved for all grades from previous surveys for tobacco and alcohol, and the trends have declined around marijuana. Potentially not surprising, given that marijuana is now legal. Yes.
Not because it's safe.
Right. So those are just a few highlights from a very lengthy report that can be found on the district website. And again, I'm really pleased with the fact that we're getting this information out there and readily available to parents and our public on the website in a way that we haven't done in the past.
I hope our health ed teachers and science teachers are really emphasizing the research that shows that marijuana has really negative effects on adolescent brains.
Yes.
It is very, very problematic that what's happening in our society and culture.
before we get too confident in the numbers, my concern is the self-reporting, because it is voluntary, and the way it drops off at the senior level of high school. I think you're less likely to have those who are participating in risky activities participating in a survey. I would think that the numbers perhaps are skewed by virtue of that reporting, and I'm not saying that it's the nature of the beast. There's nothing we can really do about it, but I wouldn't want us to take great comfort in those numbers being excessively low in those grades, because I think that it's just indicative of the way the survey is conducted. So I think we should be more mindful of it. I find it hard to believe that a lot of those behaviors are much lower in the in 12th grade than they are indicating.
I think as an overall trend, the negative things are increasing in the older grades, even though the participation rates are lower. But overall, if you look at the data, 6th graders, for example, compared to 12th graders, more 6th graders will report less use, for example, and even though fewer 12th graders are participating and more 6th graders are participating, there's higher use reported at 12th grade. So it is hard to know if students are answering always, honestly. However, I think the fact that it's anonymous and that at least helps with results being potentially more accurate.
Just let me say this about the survey, because I work for the Department of Health, and I've sat through meetings about the Healthy Youth Survey off and on for years. There's always going to be problems with surveys, but this is a survey that people take very, very seriously. They put the resources into it that they can to develop and analyze the questions and follow the best practices they can. And they work to maintain the funding, to maintain the survey, which is always problematic. So, and it's comparisons and trends. Our kids are probably not going to be different from other kids around the state or the country in terms of how overall they're going to respond or not respond. So it's a tool that people take very, very seriously.
And I would echo what Nancy said. I had the opportunity to actually be involved in the analysis with the Teen Health Survey several years ago in doing so, and it is really quite impressive, the amount of work that goes into it. You had mentioned that we were working with teachers and that, I believe, Matt Gillingham, I get the right Matt? I know there's several, is involved with it. I'm curious to know, how are we working this with our students? They're who gave us this information. Do we have any plans in which to outreach into our students and have them look through this data and say, what does this mean? What could your schools do? How could you address that? Because I think a lot of those issues are peer norming, and I think could drive a lot. Also, have we done outreach with our schools, nonprofits, just to make sure that this information's available in regards so that they're aware of this? Many of them work with our teams in different ways, and I think that would give a lot of opportunity to get an idea of those roles. I could see this. This is good data that we have the opportunity to be able to really put some of the social and health well-being. Our PTSA, I think, would be highly interested in it, knowing that they're doing a lot of legislative advocacy around it. So to really sort of highlight some of those components.
Yeah, I think those are just good ideas. I don't know that we've done anything particular with students in the past, but I could see, we're looking at the district-wide data, but there's also school-level data that all of the schools have. And, I'll bring that back to Matt, because I think there's an opportunity to make sure the school-level data gets in front of the activity coordinators, gets in front of the athletic directors. The activity coordinators typically run the leadership classes. Yeah. And there's lots of good potential and possibilities for getting the data in front of the students to help inform, what kind of assembly topics and things like that. I mean, there's all sorts of uses, so some good ideas. Mark?
I think, misunderstood my point. I'm not saying the people who conduct the surveys aren't taking them seriously and aren't doing them well. I'm just saying that I think that you have a lot of students who are in the at-risk categories who would probably not participate because even though they know it's voluntary, even though they know there's no way for anyone to track it back to them, I'll lay you odds that any student who's participating in risky activities was probably more disinclined to take that survey than not. So that's what I'm saying.
Absolutely, and typically then we would expect higher than what we currently have, and they are fairly high already at our upper grades. So you're right, the problem likely is even more than we're seeing, and this is why I think the opportunity of bringing your students in to really think about it and work with it can be highly valuable.
Yeah, and as you know, also this is one piece of data. So we've got self-reporting data.
Sure.
And, you know, frankly, in any self-reporting, there's the danger of somebody over-reporting or under-reporting, right? But then we also have our discipline data, incidents of suspension and other, you know, discipline for drug use and all kinds of things. So this is one piece of data that we can use in our larger data set to help us determine what our potential problems are and what we can do to help address some of the issues.
So, before Chris, my concern is about the suicide piece, because that's a statistic that's growing nationally as well as in the state. And I understand with the social workers and getting them into the high school. And I know we don't have a lot of time and resource, but there are other agencies in the community that deal with mental health in youth, that deal with suicides, that I think beside Evergreen, that might be somewhere to look for other partners to provide some services for the schools, even if in training or things to look for. It's a tough situation, and obviously every time you lose a student, it just gets to everyone deep down. But that's a disturbing statistic. And as I said, if you look at the national figures, it's really even more sad. So I would hope that we could start looking at what other, agencies that we have around, Fairfax, which is growing larger and larger with theirs, but they do a lot of work, from my understanding, just looking at their website, about abuse and substance abuse, but also other behaviors and kind of the connections between them, and that includes mental health pieces. So just wondering if we could start seeing if there's other potential that, I know we don't have the resources necessarily to provide it, but maybe we can have partners that can help our schools.
A lot of those sorts of toolkits and resources are on the School Safety Center website, and as we put together kind of our enhanced suicide prevention and training plan, we'll be leaning on those resources as well as whatever else. We've got partnerships with YES and other youth services. Evergreen, we've just been specifically, as you know, working on to contract with for social workers, so that's one component of the larger strategy. But I will get back to you with a more detailed follow-up on what all of the youth suicide prevention and prevention
and
efforts
again,
are.
not to say anything negative about Evergreen, but I'm just thinking if there's children's agencies that work with kids and teens who may have a different, have different experiences with depression than adults. And so if we can find places that, children's and places like that that do have the experience that could provide us maybe some better tools or additional tools to what we already have. Chris, you had a comment?
I've got a couple of questions on this. The first is, how is this? I want to know why we have only 19 seniors answering any of the questions about sex. When was the last time you had sex? We've got 1,151 answering last time they had used drugs, but we've got 19 kids in 12th grade and 31 kids in 10th grade answering any of the questions about sex. 1,151 answering, have you seriously considered attempting suicide? And we've got more kids saying yes to that than answered the question, when was the last time you had sex? There's something awry in this. It's as if a portion of this questionnaire was not administered in our district.
Well,
I'm
let's
curious
think back to your high school years. Would you have said yes on that?
Well, no. So thinking back to the high school years, this is the reason I bring this up is the suicide does catch my attention, and the two kids I knew who succeeded were both gay, and we've got 19 kids who have the courage to declare themselves straight on the question that asks, "Are you straight, bisexual, or gay?" We've got more kids contemplating suicide than have even answered that question. So that, to me, is a null data point that is telling me a lot about something. And whether it's just that someone at the state district screwed up in getting our data, or if this is something we really need to have an open conversation about, I'm not sure.
Why don't you let me follow up on that question, because I don't know the answer.
Yeah.
So we'll need
anyway,
to dig
this is one of those
that
details
and
of just digging
find
into it.
out.
When you've only got 32 kids answering a question, that makes me wonder what happened.
Yeah, that is a good point. But as you're right, there are lots of factors and reasons for, as
Absolutely.
I said, kids and suicide than it is when you look at the adult population.
And it's something that I'm sorry. So now just sort of backing out from that's the one that really is setting off my alarm bells. But are we really more than 10% of the kids across the state who took this survey are here in our district? Because the numbers keep coming back that we've got 800 kids who took the survey and answered this question, and there are 6,000 kids statewide
Who took the test.
And that just doesn't make sense. There's something, these numbers, they're setting off my spider sense. So.
And the date, you're looking at the full report?
Yeah,
Is
so
that
just
what you're
looking at the
looking
full
at?
report, if I go to the 10th grade on question number 127, we have 1,156 kids asking, did you feel sad or hopeless almost every day for the last 2 weeks? And there are 8,625 statewide who answered that question. That's fishy. So I'm not sure what's going on.
Especially
Would you
because there are
let
several
me
school
dig
districts
into
bigger
your
than us.
There ought to be a
questions?
few districts bigger than we are. So anyway, this is not necessarily your fault. I think this is a statewide, the numbers they gave us, there's
Okay.
something fishy.
Yeah, let me follow up on that.
Thank you.
I'd be interested also to see, the impact of zero tolerance towards use of tobacco, alcohol, or anything has the impact on whether or not you even consider answering these questions. I would think that would have a major negative impact on whether I would even touch the piece of paper, let alone answer it, if I were them.
In terms of zero tolerance, I think, I'm not sure how you're defining that. We typically, we don't really have what we call zero tolerance. That has tended to mean, so I don't know how that's being defined in your mind, is that, it's like if you do that, you're out, right? Like zero tolerance around guns or something. If you had a weapon at school under a zero tolerance policy, you would be expelled. We really don't have any zero tolerance policies.
I'm talking about participation in extracurriculars. If I recall correctly, there is a zero tolerance for the athletics. If you're caught smoking, drinking, whatever, you are no longer allowed to participate in high school athletics. I believe that's a zero tolerance. And I know there's kids that are just scared spitless, that all of a sudden somebody's going to see them taking a drag on a cigarette, and there goes their 3 more years of high school football or baseball or whatever.
And ironically, we've still got hundreds of kids answering, yes, I was binge drinking in the last 2 weeks. So
Right.
clearly the kids aren't too worried about it. Or
Or
I
they're
don't
not
know.
participating in what they...
Yeah, or they're not participating, yeah.
Yeah.
And for those at home who are interested in looking at the survey, it is on our website and the results.
It is, and
Tracy will look into the numbers.
Yeah.
and see
There are just two other non-related things I wanted to mention during superintendent's report, if that's okay. One is that we've got, as you know, the long-term facility task force continuing to meet and do their work. There's an online open house that opened today that is accessible on the district website, and it's using the same format that you've seen with the online open house that the long-term facility task force had. They have an ongoing online open house, and there's certain times where they're really asking for community feedback. So that's opening today, or it has opened today. There's some new videos of the working subcommittee posted to the site that I would encourage you to look at and want people to be aware of. There's also, we've begun a digital media marketing campaign to try to get the word out about the online open house and the work of the Long-Term Facility Task Force. So what that means is you could potentially be on Google or like MSN.com or something and see an ad for Long-Term Facility Planning Task Force, participate in the online open house. So as people potentially are starting to see those, wanted to raise that, yes, that is a strategy we're using right now to see if that is a way to, beyond just our regular means of direct emails to parents, but other ways to get the word out to the larger community. So we are testing out a digital media strategy.
Wonderful.
And then the last thing I wanted to mention was I had the pleasure of this past Saturday being at a little portion of the Washington State PTSA conference. And we had awesome
some great pictures on
representation,
Facebook.
Right, from Region 2. And I got to be there to have breakfast with some folks and listen to the keynote, which was all about family engagement. Great, and see lots of our local supporters, some of who are here out in the audience. And I just want to say thanks to our PTSAs for everything that they do. And it was just great to be at the state level conference and see what great representation we have there.
And our very own Barbara Martin is going to be president of the state PTA this coming year. So hats off to Barbara. It's been a long time since we've had a Region 2 state president. It goes back to when I first was involved in PTA. Darlene Siegel was our president at that time. In fact, my kids were very little at Winnedale then. So very cool, very cool. Always have a good contingency from the Lake Washington PTA there. Had a lot of good times. Okay, legislative. They're still working, huh, Siri?
They'll be working for a while, it appears. As you know, hopefully, both the Senate and the House put out a budget a while ago. And for the most part, the education on both sides of that, the funding that was being put forward was pretty equivalent in the sense of how much money was going towards MSOT, towards transportation and those components. The big piece that has hit has been the funding for education and the levy components, and that came out this week. And they are now no longer discussing, and talks have broken down. Partially you have the Senate with one approach, which is revenue neutral with a levy swap. And then you have the House, which is doing a capital gains tax in which to fund it. And then you have Ross Hunter's approach, which is to put together a committee and deal with it in December. So those are sort of the three things, and that's where they're sort of at and holding those discussions. From our legislative priorities and what we had put out and sort of how these fall out, one of the pieces we put forward was to have ample and sustainable funding and fund McCleary. For the most part, both houses are funding McCleary. The class size reduction is there for K-3. There's two plans. You either suspend it completely, which is the House vote, get the 2/3 vote, and then 1351 goes away. But they would keep K-3. And then the Senate is to send it back to the voters and say the funding plan that has to go with it is the plan on the Senate side. That still has to be negotiated as to what that will be in the long run. So in regards to our priorities as to sustainable funding, that's where the question is between the House and the Senate budget. The Senate budget is not increasing revenue for the most part. It's utilizing the additional $3 billion that's expected, using marijuana funding that's coming in as an expected revenue source. The House is doing an actual increase in revenue. So those are some of the questions in looking at that. So if you want to contact your legislators, please feel free. Around the capital side and building, they have put forward funding for classrooms, for all-day K, and addressing that. And Barbara had sent out the comparison of the House and the Senate budget in regards to what that does and our impact with our schools. And Tracy might be able to speak to that better. I don't remember them directly off my head. Check it out and look at it. It's fascinating how that all plays out. As to how any of this horse trading is going to occur at the end is unclear. April 26th, the session's supposed to end.
Let's see, that's 6 days away.
There is not a lot of belief that that is going to occur now. There was prior to the education funding dropping because there was enough similarities. Then at the federal level, the ESA, the Elementary and Secondary Education Act, Senator Patty Murray has been busily working with a bipartisan approach in which to get that addressed. For the most part, the National School Board Association is online, says it's a great bill. There's nothing really in it. It puts a lot of the support back to the states and a lot of the decision making. And so that is good. As to how long that will take to go through the federal government remains to be seen, and what the House will do is still a question.
Business as usual.
The good thing is, from an education side, the funding is coming through. We are seeing increased funding. We did last year. We will see this year. That is beneficial. As to how levies will be impacted, that's a big concern.
Yeah.
Because that's our local money and our flexibility, which was the third point on our legislative agenda, was addressing local flexibility.
And given that we've been using our local levy dollars to fund basic education, if it's a one-for-one swap, it might not be a net-net gain. So what we're doing right now, as you mentioned, is with these proposals, trying to run scenarios to see what is the impact, and those are the reports that you've seen that Barbara has prepared. Our May 4th study session is it is on strategic planning budget process, whether or not we're going to have any real clarity about the picture, not just in the short term, but in the long term, so we can plan accordingly for the short and long term. By May 4th is not likely, but we will see.
Yeah. So it is an important time to contact your legislators and let them know that you want them to finish on time, and that sustainable, ample funding for education is important without impacting negatively on our other services the government has to provide.
And she's speaking to those who are at home watching us or flipping through when later in the week come by us and see what we're talking about. They also could contact. Sometimes hearing from people who are parents and regular citizens who are not elected to anywhere often carry a whole lot more weight than the electeds do. So their voices added to ours certainly help. So thank you for keeping track of them. It's like herding cats. Yeah, good luck. Okay, any follow-up or whatever? Siri and I and Tracy met with the City of Kirkland a couple weeks ago, recently, just talking about bringing them up to date about our long-term facilities, and also talking about how what we're doing and what the cities are doing and better ways of communicating between the cities and the district to know and for planning in the future and where growth is and how all that's going to be, and just trying to think of ways that that could get better down the road. So that is, and we also talked to them about timing of ballot measures, just trying to begin feeling out there who's going to be running what when. I know Redmond has one in August. And Kirkland is looking at, and they probably may decide tomorrow night, they have on their agenda the recreational building in the pool, and they're looking at creating a, what is it called, regional, a park district of something of that nature. And so they may put that on the ballot, and they're talking possibly November, but it could go beyond that. Depends on what happens tomorrow night at their meeting. So just kind of seeing what other things, and it'll be interesting to see how the ballot measure that's out right now does. Anything that I forgot with that meeting?
There is the Lake Washington Schools Foundation Luncheon coming up on April 29th.
Yes.
That I encourage any and all to attend. It's a great opportunity to see the great things happening in our school district and highlight it through that angle.
It's at Juanita High School. It'll be 11 is check-in done by 1-ish or so, and you can go on their website to register. It's very easy to do.
And then I also just finished the second weekend of the Leadership WASDA, and addressing those sorts of things and different ways of good to great, and different ways that I will have the opportunity to speak with you all in the future as to possibilities of what we can do in making some shifts at the board.
All righty. Anything else from anybody?
I figured out where it went.
Where it went?
The Healthy Youth Survey is, shall we say, poorly annotated, but the dagger that referred back to page number 5 indicates that there were 3 different versions of the survey. You only got any of the sex questions if you took the enhanced B or C forms of the survey, and it looks like we gave Form A to all but one classroom of kids.
Well, that
So
explains
our
it.
sex data this year are pretty much meaningless.
Well, that makes.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you for checking that out. Yes. Count on Chris to check out those stats for us. Okay, if hearing nothing else, our next board meeting is May 4th, and we'll have a study session at 5, and then our board meeting is at 7. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. We have a motion to adjourn. Can I hear a second?
Second.
Motion second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Meeting is adjourned.